It's a question that constantly gets brought up. What happened to 2D animation in theaters? At least wide release animation in America. It still happens in other countries. The 2016 Japanese film Your Name earned over $300 million worldwide, yet it never got a wide release in America outside a few screenings. Why is 2D animation dead for us? Why is it always the same looking glass doll-eyed woman in nearly everything? Well, I lay the blame on two factors: Pixar and the Rugrats.
Oops. I didn't do it! I didn't do it!
We heard the whole thing, Angelica.
How, you may ask, did the Rugrats do such a thing? Part of this is speculation, but it makes sense in my head, so surely someone out there may feel the same. So let's take it back to the 90s, during the Disney Renaissance, where Disney was producing hit after hit after hit after Pocahontas, after hit after Hunchback, after hit after hit. Imitators tried to compete, but could not compare. Non-Disney films like Anastasia or Quest for Camelot were seen as Disney wannabes. Meanwhile, on TV, Nickelodeon was dominating with the Rugrats. Rugrats then was what SpongeBob is today, a massive phenomenon. Constant reruns, merchandise, kids couldn't get enough of it, so it only made sense to cross over into film with 1998's Rugrats the Movie. It featured the babies going on fun, life-threatening, child-neglecting adventures, just like the TV show. But this time, Tommy's got a new little brother, Dill, who hogs up all the family's attention. Many of the Rugrat fans blame this film as the turning point in quality for the series. Dill couldn't walk or talk, his only purpose was to make even more dookie jokes, and sometimes show Tommy taking responsibility as an older brother. It's kinda weird, you have a show about babies and you have a newborn baby who is far less intelligent than the other babies. How does that work? Why are the other newborn babies in the hospital in the same movie able to talk and make jokes about being circumcised?
They cut my cord!
Oh, consider yourself lucky.
I tell you what I think of the movie personally, but it's been several years since I've watched it, so I don't care. All I remember is Tommy attempted to kill his newborn brother by pouring peanut butter on Dill, hoping these monkeys would devour him. Child mortality aside, Rugrats the Movie became the first animated film not made by Disney to gross over $100 million. And considering how much cheaper the Rugrats movie was to produce than the typical Disney film meant it was a minor financial risk, returning a massive profit. As we know with Hollywood, once something is successful, many imitators will cash in on a trend. Why try to out-Disney Disney when you can do something different and be on your own league? Or why try to sell yourself as a big, artsy Disney-esque film when all you need is a recognizable brand allowing for a slightly above TV quality cartoon to be slapped on the big screen?
I never thought I'd see it with my own eye.
Tickets to the SpongeBob movie!
Suddenly, every TV series was adapted to theaters. Sure, there were TV cartoon to movies here and there before the Rugrats, but they just flooded in after the Rugrats movie. Recess, Hey Arnold, Doug, Pokemon, Pokemon 2000, Pokemon 3, Teacher's Pet, Powerpuff Girls, The Wild Thornberrys, SpongeBob, South Park, Yu-Gi-Oh!, The Rugrats 2 Go Wild, and Rugrats 3, Rugrats in Paris. That's my favorite Kanye song. From 1998 through 2004, 15 of these movies came out in the span of 6 years. It made sense for a huge phenomenon like the Pokemons to get a movie, but was anyone really asking for Teacher's Pet the movie? No offense to all three fans of Teacher's Pet, but really, the show wasn't exactly anywhere near Rugrats in popularity, and the box office numbers reflect that. Sorry, Gary Baseman. Some of these TV to movie adaptations were straight to video films they just tossed into theaters last second, like Doug's first movie. Doesn't really look too good projected on the big screen. By the way, nice title, Doug's first movie.
It's Doug's first movie.
Good luck with that. Digimon the movie was simply a collection of short films lazily stitched together to form one narrative. The last short film segment featured characters from this Japanese TV series that weren't introduced in America yet. Who was this rabbit thing? Me as a fan didn't know yet, and neither did your average moviegoer. On that note, if editing goes well, my Digimon Season 1 retrospect should be coming out next. The one nice thing to say about the Digimon movies, it does have the most early 2000s soundtrack.
But you think it's strange that there's a way of how you look and how you act and how you think.
On the rare occasion, some of these movies took full advantage of being able to do things in theaters that were too hot for TV, like South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. It didn't look much better from an artistic standpoint, but they proudly pushed that R rating to its breaking point. For a generation today that grew up with Adult Swim, cartoons being vulgar isn't so shocking anymore, but in the 90s, that was a big deal and rightfully belonged on the big screen. Otherwise, the TV version of that film would just be nothing but...
Hey, I thought you didn't have a driver's license.
You don't need a license to drive a sandwich.
For kids, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie told a hilarious, grand, sometimes emotional adventure both kids and adults could enjoy. It was much better than the 2015 sequel Sponge Out of Water, which to me felt like a series of regular, basic episodes stitched together. These two SpongeBob movies are each examples on what you should and should not do when making a TV movie. The one adaptation I still appreciate and no one ever talks about was Recess School's Out. I used to watch that every summer vacation. That was when summer vacation was something special. And then I became an adult. Sure, these TV movies were done so cheaply they're bound to make back the money it took to produce them, most of the time, but unless they were big brands like Pokemon or Rugrats, they weren't breaking $100 million. One of the most concerning duds was when the Powerpuff Girls movie bombed. In its heyday, Powerpuff was also a marketing machine, toys, games, and clothing, just like the Rugrats, yet the film still bombed.
Oh, what's the matter? Did somebody get washed?
I thought it was the perfect origin story. It lived up to the mix of violence and sweetness the Powerpuff Girls were known for. During production, Cartoon Network wanted a darker, edgier movie that was aimed towards, quote, 25-year-old guys, according to creator Craig McCracken. Too bad those little girls just couldn't attract enough grown men into the theater.
Now come here, girls.
As the trend of TV movies lost their steam, so too did these big-time hand-drawn films. Disney's winning streak was ending after several of their films bombed. Think of your average moviegoer who isn't so knowledgeable about animation and was scorned by these cheap TV movies. Wouldn't they speculate if, let's say, this Home on the Range was just another TV cartoon making a quick buck? These parents likely told their kids to wait for it to air on TV and to instead go pay to watch something else together. But surely you could trust the Disney brand for quality. Oh wait, no you couldn't. Disney proudly displayed their name on their own cheap TV adaptations too. We were living in a time when Doug's first movie had the same seal of quality as Beauty and the Beast. You know what brand you could really trust? That new company that produced a film once every 2 or 3 years, Pixar. Quality over quantity. When a Pixar movie was coming, it was an event. CGI was something you just couldn't get on TV. At least not at this quality when TV CG was on the level of...
I just wanna feel my girth.
That's a video for another day. If people are gonna pay money to watch something, they're gonna want something you couldn't get for free on TV. That was the mindset of the masses.
I can't believe we're paying to see something we get on TV for free. If you ask me, everybody in this theater is a giant sucker, especially you!
In 2004, Disney released what we thought was their final 2D animated movie, Home on the Range. It got mixed ratings and was a commercial failure. Disney hereafter shut down their 2D animation division and carried on with CG films. So of course that means all these CG films would be financially successful just like Pixar.
Please, stop!
No, No, there were some profitable movies, but CG Disney films like The Wild and Meet the Robinsons were also underperforming compared to Pixar. It wasn't just 2D that was tarnished, it was Disney as a brand. How could they go from the 90s being considered the Disney Renaissance to their new millennium films struggling to stay afloat?
What are you doing? Let go of me!
Okay. We'll be right back.
How could they go from the 90s being considered the Disney Renaissance to their new millennium films struggling to stay afloat? Part of it was expensive CGI making a rise, but at the same time, I credit the oversaturation of cheaply made 2D films making CG all the more impressive. It was unreal witnessing technology progress before us. Behind the scenes promos bragged about Sully's realistic fur or Violet's hair physics. Meanwhile, hey, it's that show you watched on TV, but now you gotta pay to see it. It's just like that Simpsons joke they used twice.
The wild dingleberries?
It's a movie version of a cartoon family you can see for free on TV.
But they stretched out the plot and added a wildebeest from the hood.
I am so there.
The audience is expecting something grand when they walk into the theater for a Disney movie. They're gonna feel cheated if they watch something that barely goes beyond TV standards. I get it, movies are a business, and when you see something far less expensive like the Rugrats make it big, it's so enticing to chase that trend, spend little money, rely on a brand to carry the film, and hope it does amazing. But by doing that, you're cheapening your brand. Just because people pay to see it doesn't mean they won't have a critical eye the next time you try the same thing. All these films just watered down the medium. Disney should have stuck to their guns, disassociate their name from all those cheap movies and kept making their genuine films. They could have stood out from the crowd, but instead they sunk to their level and killed their winning streak because of it. Disney used to set trends, but their downfall came in trying to follow them. They wanted to be Rugrats. They wanted to be Pixar.
The way I look at it is like, okay, think of two movie studios that are making live action films. One makes really popular films and the other one just so-so films. The so-so film studio would kind of look over and go, oh, I get it. I know why our films are not doing well at the box office. We're using the wrong camera. We're going to use that camera with that company, that's film studio that's doing amazing work, you know? And now our movies are going to be liked by audiences. Of course, that's ridiculous, but that's the way we feel about hand-drawn animation versus computer animation.
Besides Pixar, remember what other movie was beating Disney?
Wake up! What?
Shrek, an ultra-successful parody on fairy tales, the thing Disney is known for. After Shrek, Disney strayed far, far away from fairy tales, but when they did return to their roots, it was always a parody of it, like, look, we can be Shrek too. Come back to us, please. Our teacher's pet movie's making fun of Pinocchio. Please watch it. Even when Disney returned to their princess movies, you always had that one scene of, oh, we're not like those other Disney films.
Who marries a man she just met?
It's true love!
Whoa!
Which, I think that's a good thing. Parodies often mock conventions we've seen far too many times, so it's good to keep evolving from criticism. But let's backpedal to when Home on the Range bombed. We went 5 years without a 2D Disney film before Princess and the Frog tried to save the medium in 2009.
I suppose you want a kiss?
Kissing would be nice, yes?
A well-received movie, but not the money-making hit Disney wanted, as it came out at the wrong time and with the wrong title, apparently.
The film did okay, and it was critically very well reviewed, but for reasons which I won't go into here, it was released 5 days before Avatar. And the consequence of that was that people saw the name Disney Princess and the Frog, and they said, oh, this is for little girls only. So it was put into a bucket. And because of the incredible buzz around Avatar, nobody revisited their preconception of what it was. And we couldn't break through that. And it was the reason we changed the name of Rapunzel to Tangled. We wanted to give the film a chance to stand on its own without people putting it into a preconceived bucket.
There was one more 2D film, 2011's Winnie the Pooh, which unless you were taking care of a preschooler, no one went to see that film. Disney took these failures as a sign that no one wants to see the second dimension. Yes, I'm sure general audiences were demanding a CG Winnie the Pooh movie. Hollywood, just like us, has a lot of insecurities. If a movie doesn't go well, it's a constant blame game of why a movie failed. Was it too childish, too girly, because it's 2D? No one knows. But here we are now, Disney doing way better than they were in the 2000s, making a steady stream of hit films. 2D animation may be dead in theaters, but it lives on in TV. Besides, 2D is still heavily involved during the production of CG films. Shorts like Paperman or Day and Night incorporate elements of 2D. It'll never go away as long as people can draw. I think it was appropriate that Princess and the Frog was overshadowed by an effects-heavy film like James Cameron's Avatar, a movie that hammered in marketing at how revolutionary its effects are.
I think the thing that people need to keep very strongly in mind is that this is not an animated film.
But that was years ago. Who cares about CGI at this point? Every movie has good CGI now. It's not impressive, it's standard. In the early 2000s, there was maybe 2 CG movies per year. Now there's a CG movie coming out once or maybe twice a month. Think about this, one of the biggest movies of the 90s was Independence Day, a film touting its destruction effects. Who cares about the 2016 sequel? Oh, buildings getting destroyed? Every movie has that now. CG is nothing special anymore. That's why I think now is the right time for Disney to try again with 2D animation. They're constantly selling merchandise on their old stuff, people are always writing articles on Disney princesses or whatever. Live action remakes of these films break box office records, parents introduce their kids to these films that they grew up with. Nostalgia is huge, so why not bank on it again? Disney makes tons of films per year. At least let one of those be 2D.
Never in the history of cinema has a movie been entertaining to an audience because of the technology. It is what you do with the technology. It's what you do with the medium. It's so special. Andrew Stanton, said this, and I think it's a perfect sentiment, is that 2D animation became the scapegoat for bad storytelling.
All right, Higgins, time for some one-on-one.
Uh-oh, time to go to my favorite place. Burger King.
Phew, that was close. Look out. Rugrats have arrived at Burger King. One toy inside every kid's club meal. You can collect them all.
Hey, what about me?
Cut!
I had it. The director is such a baby.
Who, me?
Burger King Kids Club. Great food, cool stuff, kids only.